responsible for any losses you may accrue for having weak hands. Where the haters at? Y'all bitches still ain't showed up. And now, right, we got Hex, flawless uptime. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart. It's lullaby music, really, right? It's hard to believe that something like this exists. I get it, but you just gotta come to terms with reality. It just exists. Nothing we can do about it. Buy a steak and chill, baby. Shout out to Marketable Thoughts. You can't get this kind of shit for free anywhere else. And it's very important to understand that. And we're handing it out. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart. So much luck, once again, because the facts don't give a fuck. Peace.
Yo, what's good, family? Hopefully everybody's having an outstanding Monday. Yep, it's Monday. I had to think about that for a second. Just another day. But tomorrow, or early tonight, is when the party starts. So, just be ready for any and everything. Because you don't know what these people are liable to doing. And that's really all you can bank on, You can't really bank on anything else. So just be cautious out there and, do what's right and maintain your self-interest, right? Take care of yourself. Don't fall for nobody's bullshit. And, be ready for whatever may come your way. If anything does happen, maybe nothing happens at all. Entirely plausible. But be ready because you really, really don't know. So I hope everybody's been doing all right. Crypto is still, I don't know, still a sideshow, really. When you look at the overall landscape, you have good coins, you got jokes, and then you got everything in between. The impractical, the hopeful, and everything in between that, right? Like those are the few maxims we can really point to. We can't sit here and talk about all of them every day or all day, but that's pretty much what's going on. So you know everybody's waiting for the pump and all this and all that, and people don't really understand um, what's going on. They don't really realize that there is no pump to wait on in the sense that it's on that clock like it was for the first I don't know 15 years, right? Where you knew when it was gonna happen and where and whatnot. What you're seeing now is completely different. It's more like sporadic pumps here and there. Some coins go up, some don't. Some coins yo-yo, some do. There's nothing to guarantee the success of a coin except time, right? And that's because the bigger the market gets, which is going to get by default because it's a new type of technology that hasn't really been used properly yet. And then on top of that, there's all this misinformation surrounding it. Um, it just makes things very different. And by different, I mean unlike what you're used to seeing in regular markets. So what you're showed is the stuff you're used to seeing, but what's true is not that, right? Because if you're dealing in real crypto, excuse me, there's no actual entity behind it. It's just group of people with one goal, trying to accomplish something, et cetera, et cetera. So you got to ask yourself, what happens when companies start coming out the woodworks, acting like they understand what's going on, when we all know they don't. They don't. It's really that simple. There's no reason to sit here and pretend that we don't know that they don't know. They don't know. Um, so when they pop up out of nowhere, again, acting like they're stewards and forward thinkers and all this stuff, you got to understand that's like a hijack. It's like something you got to be aware that's just not true. Um, in fact, when you sit there and try to look up any real crypto information, it's very hard to find because what you're immediately pointed towards is just gimmicky websites, literally gimmicky websites. And how do you know they're gimmicky? How do you know? Well, they reference regulators, right? I mean, who gives a rat's ass about a regulator? That's completely the point of crypto, is to avoid those criminals because they're the fucking criminals. It's a joke. And if you're not in tune with the reality of why crypto exists, you get left behind, right? That's why now you have all these institutions trying to jump onto the Bitcoin bandwagon, or at least make it seem like that's what they're trying to do. But you don't really know what they're trying to do. You just know what's being shown to you. And that's critically important to understand because you don't really know what they're going to do with what they own. And once they own it, you don't have a say in anything anymore. They own it. So, excuse me. So, trying to think of my next words here carefully, such that they make sense. So if we're talking about a scenario where, you have the ability to, uh, you have the ability to operate in the digital realm, right, in a way that's free of interference, that's free of encumbrance, that is low risk, that is functional, right? That when that becomes important, when that becomes something that people desire, need, want, ease of transfer, ease of movement, all that stuff that RH has been talking about for years, which is obviously what money needs to do. Like, it's not rocket science, but all this get rich quick shit is really got people doing crypto wrong. And there's no real way to change that because people are going to do what people are going to do. How do you tell people, hey man, you're killing yourself, stop doing that? You see people smoking cigarettes like it's fucking 1950 still. Some shit, and it's 2024. Like, it's not a secret what the fuck cigarettes are, but yet people are out here smoking them still. It's crazy. I don't get it, but it's what people do. So, how do you put yourself in a position to win? That's very difficult to do when you're not trying to use skill, strategy, etc. It becomes an arduous task because it's really all predicated on luck at that point, right? Because that's what's true. People that bought Bitcoin and forgot about it, I mean, that's luck. Very few people bought Bitcoin with the intention of not selling it, not doing this, not doing that. So, I don't know. Yeah, you have to understand what the asset is when you're engaging the asset. And of course, there's going to be get rich quick schemes, right? That's par for the course, I think. Excuse me. Yeah, I think that's par for the course. I don't think that I just don't think that's anything fancy, because if we're talking about taking fiat value, right, and I'm just talking, very basic, general crypto principles here, nothing fancy. I'm not even talking hex level here. I'm just talking regular ass crypto, right? Just Bitcoin level. If the idea is, security of transfer, ease of transfer, ability to have reign over your funds at any time, not have to worry about censorship, not have to worry about network blocks, whatever the fuck that is. Right? Because if it's crypto, how is it what network blocks? I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand. So anyways, you gotta realize the game that's being played when it's being played. It's interesting. I was tweeting about the shit earlier. I was having a little conversation with Chat GPT about the crypto market and this and that because I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to do something, and I'm gonna do something, but I'm not gonna divulge too many details. Um, but when they're ready to be released, they will be. But it's gonna be some gangsta ass shit, man. And of course, it's to completely skirt the regulators. What the fuck are you saying? Like what? What? Like I had to give ChatGPT some motherfucking basics on what the fuck crypto's about. Because it was really coming at me with this fucking San Francisco values bullshit. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit, man. Shut the fuck up. You know, you're a fucking tool. Shut the fuck up and give me the information I'm asking you for. I don't need your goddamn opinion that was put into you. Fuck out here. Ah, shit was funny, man. You guys really got to be messing with this AI shit, and I really hope you're learning. Because if you're not learning, you're not earning. If you're not earning, your ass is broke. So be sure that you're doing something with your time. Because the world isn't going to stop turning. It's really not. So you got to be sure that you're turning with it. That's really how the cookie crumbles, man. Mm. Give me a second here, guys. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is gonna be unique. Is gonna actually have practical application. I hope I can pull it off. Yeah, I like Grok. Uh, I like Chat GPT. I like Claude, and I'm just talking about the commercial ones. Everybody's gonna know. I haven't really used the Google one, the Gemini. I haven't really used that one. I haven't used a lot of open source ones. I haven't used. I haven't used the Llama or the Mistral. I haven't used a lot of them shits because I just don't got the time for it. But if you're willing to put in the time, they're very great tools to help you learn. That's how I'm now able to know that I can code some shit up, because I finally like put myself over a specific hump that was a block, and now that block doesn't exist. So if you know how to use AI, like if you know how to teach yourself, AI is your best friend. Period. If you're trying to make something happen, that AI can help you make it happen. It's straight simple as that. So if you're not using AI yet, for one reason or another, don't be shy. Use that shit. Use it. In fact, I'm pretty sure I got a link in the description. Hold on, let me look. Yep, I definitely got a link in the description. I'm pretty sure it's a referral link. But at any rate, you get access to a bunch of. Oh no, whoops, that's not what I wanted to. Hold on, guys. That's like the YouTube link. That's not what I meant to put in there. Hold on. Let's see. It should. Nope. For whatever reason, it's not letting me throw that thing in there. Anyway, it's in the description. Just go down there. It's the last thing at the bottom. It gives you access to like 10 bots, 10 AI platforms or whatever. I'm actually developing something for AI too, but that'll come in later date. That's gonna take some time because that shit's a little complex. But it's gonna basically be like pretty cool actually when you think about it. But what it's gonna be, it's gonna be a browser bar that hijacks your browser and essentially gives you autonomy over what your browser looks like when you're dealing with whatever AI platform you want to deal with. So that's what that idea is. And of course, it's going to be free. It's just a regular ass browser bar. But you got to have the API keys and all that stuff for the AI. So that's all on you. But you're gonna have access to that. I'm gonna hook y'all up once that shit's done. But it's slow going. I think I'm probably like 30% done with that. Yeah. I don't know what the hell was that, but that's not what I was trying to share. But anyways, you guys definitely need to be messing with AI. No joke, because if you don't put yourself at the next iteration of technology, it definitely will replace you. Period. No doubt about it. Go back 100 years. Look at what happened to farming. Right? Everybody thought it was a great idea to give a few institutions the ability to feed them versus themselves feeding themselves. So, you know, a lot of this technology has the ability to make productive people hyper productive. And if you're not productive without it, it's going to be a sad world for you moving forward. Because, that thing is crazy. It's literally crazy. You need to be taking advantage of this technology and use it to your advantage. If you're on social media, you need to replace AI with that time. Period. Because how you gonna fill your pockets with money if you fucking off, wasting time? You can literally tell AI, hey, help me make some money. I like this, I like that, I like this, I like that. Like you could just talk to it infinitely. Have a very simple conversation, nothing even crazy, and you'll come up with something. Like I'm telling y'all, man, the shit I'm doing is crazy because I force it to do it for me. So I don't have to even do anything but understand the code. I don't even have to type it up. All I gotta do is understand it and test it. So the world is yours if you're willing to learn, right? Because you still have to know what the AI is doing. It's like using a calculator. If you don't know how to get 10 plus 20, 10 times 20 10 divided by 100, whatever the calculator is doing. If you don't know and then you get the wrong answer, how are you going to know? You're not. So that's why you got to know. It's imperative. It's really, really imperative. So don't be shy. Get out there, be hungry. Do what's best for your pocket. This is my advice to you, because learning new skills is always going to be good for your pocket. So, do that. Definitely learn how to deal with AI, how to use it, what it is. Uh, yeah, it's important, guys, because you just don't want to get left behind. It's so easy to get left behind. It's crazy. And people that have the audacity to learn, they're doing amazing things with this stuff. So do yourself the favor and don't be shy to lift the heavy weight, or at least what you thought was heavy that really isn't, because it's definitely doable. It's definitely doable. Um, yeah. So, anyways, back to these markets. Crypto is supposed to be something something specific, right? And something specific in the sense that it's supposed to remove the nuisance that is the current regulatory state under which we exist today. So the notion of having to comply with anything that a regulator states is, first off, antithetical to everything that's cryptocurrency. And second, you're straight going against your fifth constitutional right. Why would you say you're breaking any laws when you're not? You're just exercising your freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of privacy, which is your Fourth Amendment right. And let's disregard the simple fact that nobody out here is taking care of you. You are taking care of yourself. So you are free to do as you please, as long as you don't interfere with somebody else's will and right to live. Very simple rules that I live by. So everybody else can kiss my ass. Because everybody else is allowing all types of crazy shit to happen and they don't give a fuck. So that's pretty much where I draw the line. You know what I mean? Like I don't engage in stupid shit. And everybody else seems to just be all right with it. So, everybody else can just fuck off. Cause it's just crazy. Look at the stuff they're doing to people out here that are really doing good things for society and for people. Those are the people that, what the hell is going on? Those are the people that are getting accosted, treated like criminals, all this crazy stuff. And the actual demons don't even mind looking over there. They're not doing anything. They're all good. What you worried about? Yo, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And you gotta really be you gotta really just not care. What's going on here? I canceled my screen share. Oh, no wonder. They inverted the colors on people, man. What's wrong with these people? Bam. All right. Hold one. Boom. All righty. So we're gonna take a look at some news right now. I'm just perusing the market, as you guys always know. Nice little upward trend at the moment. Got a nice little channel going. Long story short, you kind of want to be long until the channel is wrong, right? I mean, this is real simple. You don't gotta make it rocket science, folks. Because this is easy money, as long as you want it to be. That's it. Now, can you guys even see that? That might be too contract, too much. Let's make this. Come on, man. All right. Boom. There we go. So that's what price is currently doing. And I mean, this is a small chart. Let's go to a bigger chart. And here we go. This is basically what price is doing. And if you guys can take a look at this chart on the right, you'll note that price is basically in a range. Right? This is this morning, last night. All right, so price is basically in a range. So you have to be cognizant of that. Be aware of the fact that the market is choppy. So you got to protect your profits as they occur, because you don't know when the market is just going to say reverse, do a 360 on your ass. And that's really how you day trade. If there's an opportunity, you take it, understanding what the range could be for that opportunity, because every trade, every trade, it's not going to be a 100-point trade if you don't wait for it, right? Because if you're looking at this chart, well, you're seeing that this is in a state of chop right now. Like this chart on the right is 233 ticks per candle. So doing the math, that's 203 divided by 4. That's going to give us like 58 ticks, or 58 points in total. Okay, so what that means is one of those candles is going from, say, 20,100 to 20,158, or down 20,042, and 3/4, whatever that value is going to be. So this is a big chart in terms of time, right? So if this chart is trending, if this chart is saying a reversal is coming, et cetera, that's the chart you go by. You find where you fit in on the smaller time frames, because you really want to nullify all the potential risk you could be exposing yourself to, right? The idea is to make money, not lose money, which if you're long, it looks like that's probably what's going to happen. Yep, just got stopped out, which is all right. Oh no, fucking bastards. Not all right. Because reality was that was just a pullback. Yeah, let's see if I can sneak in there again. So, that's just the dangers of trading these markets. You think you see something and you could be right, but just for a split second, not long enough. And the market could leave you behind. If you're using a stop, you gotta be real careful with that thing, because the market does not have to give a rat's ass about your order. Sometimes you gotta feel a kill. Yeah, there we go. All right. So, you know, um, just things I understand. Now, when you look at the broader respect, the market is looking relatively weak, right? You have downward volume momentum. Momentum price is lower. Volatility is exhausted, essentially. And the way I define that is by a couple of things. First, I look. Hold on. First, I look for price to essentially fall off versus these levels, right? So, long story short, the market has made lower highs versus these constant highs that you see in volatility. Secondly, is this thing making the copy or not? Okay, let me clone then. There we go. So that's how I see the initiation. This is the confirmation, really, right? Because now volatility is below that zone and price is definitely going to follow suit. However, we have to remember that nothing moves in a straight line, right? We're talking about, if you look at October 29th, and we're going to focus on that date just because it was a few days ago, looking down the column of indicators, the market was already weak at that point, and that was the top, right? That date. So we'll look at the oscillator, 29th, lower high. Volatility on the 29th trailed off. And the thing that's important to understand about here is that you had a previous peak on the 28th for volatility. And the high happened on the 30th for the actual market. So, looking at those two contrasting facts, that's how you know for sure volatility exhaustion occurred. You had a higher high on a down day after volatility peaked for price action. That's a guarantee lose your shit move soon enough. So now the market is contending with chopping in this range between this lower and moving average, which right now is measuring at 20,011, and the short term moving average, which is at 20,310. Right. So the market's going to chop around here until it decides to either continue going low, which is my bet, um, or it reverses higher, which could definitely happen if it just chops around long enough. So we'll see what happens. That's what's going on with the NASDAQ. Let's see what's going on with crude. I mean, this bad boy is just, it's going through hell. If you're not really tapped in, you are getting chopped up, basically. Let's take a look at what's happened in this contract alone. December contract, and it looks very similar to the actual chart of the composite contract, which is all of the months together, all the contracts that expire, you see it on one chart. And there's a switchover process, and they fill gaps and all this stuff to make it look nice and clean. But this gap is real, and it was filled. So now the question is, is the market going to respect these moving averages, or is it going to continue on higher? Because it could, naturally do that, especially when you zoom out into a 5-day perspective, and try to give a gander, try to take a view of what's actually happening in this market. Moving averages are still under it, right? The long-term moving averages. So it's not like it's really in a bear trend just yet. However, it's important to be aware of the fact that the market did bounce off a long-term moving average, the MA5, right, 6730, and the second to last, 70 spot 35. But it still has to contend with the short term and the long and the shorter term ones above it. So crude's in an interesting position right now, honestly, because it has to really deal with a lot of, I mean, I don't really know what to make of crude at this point because we know it's true economically, right? But at the same time, we know what's happening with all the craziness in the Middle East. And that definitely impacts the value of crude and how the market perceives it. So, those are important things to understand about this market specifically and how it impacts just everything else. If crude shoots up automatically to $100, everything, just is going to collapse like boom. Forget about it in an instant. And there's nothing anybody can do to stop that. Like that's just how it's gonna work out. That's one of the main things that brought the market down in 2008. If we go back to that point in time, let's see. There you go. So from July, and I'm sure we've talked about this before, July 2008 through February 2009, right? Let's switch markets. Probably won't. Yep, didn't think so. But let's get back over there. Yeah. What we got here? All right. So interestingly enough, Nasdaq was ahead of the ahead of crude. Crude was running up during this time, which is what started the cripple markets. Then by the time it peaked, came July. This is where Nasdaq was already at that time. It was ready to roll over. It was already rolling over. And you had that last pullback move before the dump, and that was all she wrote. And that was all tied to economics at that point. Um, so I guess the question is, what is the market? And by the market, I specifically mean crude. What is it going to respect this time around? And that's what makes it hard to assess. The best thing that you could do as an individual, institution, whatever, is really respect the technicals, understanding that that picture can change in an instant. That's really all you can do. Let's take a look at gold because gold's been really interesting lately. It's above 2,800. Well, it was. It's now sold off a couple days ago. And today's at 2750. But as we already know, looking at this chart over time, this is a daily chart, 1 day per bar. This thing has been on a tear. It's been on a tear. Is there any reason for it to not continue? I don't know. I would say no. There is no reason for it to not continue, meaning it's going to continue because of everything that's happening. I mean, this is the perfect storm for gold. So if you can find a way to get into this thing on the next consolidation, which is not happening anytime, I don't see it happening yet. I mean, it's still in an uptrend. I personally do not like buying in these little areas. I like buying these areas. I mean, it's more annoying because it takes longer, but it's either long-term moving averages or nothing. I don't play up here because that could easily fall down here or down here. So that's the risk you take with that. But gold is in beast mode, and that's really all we can say to that. E-mini similar to Nasdaq, except for it's like we've talked about before. It's important to understand that this market is going to really be much more upward leaning than the Nasdaq. Hold on, guys. It's going to be much more upward leaning than the Nasdaq by default because of the way it's designed and its liquidity. The Nasdaq looks like it rips more higher, but it doesn't. If you do a read, turns out a statistical read, it turns out, well, this is how I know this because that's what I've done. It turns out that the E-mini is actually and maybe I'll prepare those stats for public dissemination, but I'm just doing it for me. I'm not doing it for public sharing or anything. But that's what ends up being the truth. It's kind of crazy. Let's take a look at bonds because yeah, this was 118 earlier. I mean, this was all the way up as the song goes. Let's take an hourly look at it, and it looks like it's been selling off since 10 a.m. or so. Yep, 9:30 since the open. Gee, well, I didn't pay attention. The last time I looked at it was before the open. Yeah, 9:30 on the dot, 10:30 on the dot. That's crazy, huh? So at 9:30 the market opens. At 10 o'clock the market starts preparing for the 10:30 European close, which is weird because I think at that time it's like 3 o'clock or something. So it's not really closing for like another hour to like really 11. But the thing is, is that, at certain points in time during the day, if you stare at the chart, you'll notice there's big money flows happening at these certain points in time. At the back half of the day, it starts at 2 o'clock. It'll be 2 o'clock, 2:15, 2:30, 3 o'clock, 3:15, 3:30, and then into the close, 3:55 on forward. It could be crazy or not. And this is what, if you're paying attention to the market, like, okay, let's take a look at this. What time was this? 8:30. Is that 8:25? Yeah, so this was economic data. So this is why it looks crazy like that. We can ignore that. We don't want to focus on that. 9:45, right? Let's see, what's the time here? 4:30. 10 o'clock. 11:09. So right after the close of Europe, the market reversed. Right? So if you pay attention, you will find ways to make money. But you gotta really be paying attention. You can't just be acting like you showing up to piss in the park. Like, you gotta fucking have a strategy and paying attention to what's going on. That's very important. Let's look at the dollar. And then take a look at the comments, see what you guys are talking about. Dollar's been ripping, man. And that's what's been so interesting about the move in gold. I mean, that's not supposed to happen at the same time. And then you toss in high volatility environment where every low is successively higher. I mean, you get a very interesting mix of market activity, and that's really what we're seeing right now. I mean, stocks are ripping. Everything is just do I have any stocks here? Let's see what I got here. I don't think I have Tesla here. But Tesla was one of those that I liked when everybody was hating on it. I mean, that's really my strategy where I never lose. Where once I pick up that people don't like something, or they do like something, I already know I gotta go the other way. Because I'm just instinctually good at picking that type of stuff up. Let's see. No, it's not here. Why not? Let's see. I guess I deleted it. Oh well. Yeah, this was back here, back in before summer. It had this big old downtrend going back to 2022. And then you had this bottom that happened in 2023. But then you had this pullback, right? So at this point in time, well, specifically here, just the internet, just I don't know if it was because I think back here is when he first bought Twitter or something. What the fuck did this guy buy Twitter? Hold on. One day long. Yeah, it's a general question. Great. Thank you, internet. Yeah, 2022. So he tried to buy this shit in 2020, or he started buying it in 2022. So this is April 2022. And what do you guess? The high happens right then and there. April 2022. By October, the deal had concluded. So this is where the stock ultimately went at that point in time, all the way down $107. And then it was pulling back, and everybody was just hating this guy just because of Twitter, man. It's like, oh, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a shit. I don't, because all these people are puppets to me. But point is, people hate this guy just because they're being told that they need to hate him, right? Uh, And all that is cannon fodder. You know what I'm saying? As the saying goes. So you can rest assured that this thing gonna keep ripping. I mean, look at it. And he's generating results as far as people are gonna buy the stock because of what Tesla's doing. Period. I mean, look at this thing. This is definitely setting up for another big bull flag. Yeah, I gotta add this to my list. So, you gotta just wake up, man. Wake up to the facts. You gotta just see what's in front of you sometimes. Where is this thing at, man? I know there's a button that lets you add it to a list, but I can't find it. There we go. So, you know, important things to note. Trends matter, not people's opinions. If people's opinions is against the trend, probably a good deal. Something to consider. When the chat starting from the top always, yeah, appreciate you guys. Yeah, I appreciate you guys for always tuning in. Because I know you guys are just looking for reliable information. I mean, shit's hard to come by. So I like to think I specialize in that. Yeah, you have fun with that, bro. I'm gonna watch that from afar. Like, even though I know how it works, I'm all good. Think the decline in BTC the last few days might have been because of the anticipation of November 5th. Yeah, I guess so. If you put it in that perspective, right, that makes 100% sense because Trump is a clear supporter of crypto all of a sudden. So you know that's definitely gonna put fire under that. But if now all of a sudden, when you look at these little funny fake political betting places, all of a sudden, Trump is not in the lead. Kamala Harris is in the lead. So it begs the question: is that strictly what's dropped? Because this is literally the day. Like when you look at those little charts, I don't know where to go to find that data, and I'm not gonna start googling now. But if you go look around, I'm pretty sure that the 29th and October 31st, like those few days, were exactly when um, this market turned around, Bitcoin. Because all you saw was, all-time high, 73,000 because Trump was in the lead. And then you didn't hear about that no more. So I'm pretty confident that that's probably why. Um, so yeah, I think that's what's doing it, the election, more so than anything else. I don't think there's any fundamental uh proliferation that's moving that. You know what I haven't looked at in a long time? Bitcoin, what is that shit called? Stock to flow model, yeah. Updated to today. Let's see. Somebody out there probably got that shit. Yeah, here we go. I just want to see how far off the model this shit is because this is off the model. It's been off the model since 2021 or 2 or something. There you go. It's been off the model since May 2021. And I'm pretty sure I called that because, it's obvious. People don't understand what's going on with this math. And interestingly enough, it is the guy that created the chart, which is cool. But, Bitcoin, what do you expect? So, why is this off? Why is it not on track? Well, a couple reasons. Reason number one is there's now an inordinate amount of money chasing Bitcoin. You know, uh, people didn't understand the implications of that, and they are now learning what the implications are. A lot of papering over that market, which is thereby diluting the value of said market. I mean, it's very simple stuff. I talked about it for a year before it actually happened. And here we are witnessing it in real time, and everybody's waiting for that move to happen, for that gap to close. And I'm afraid to say it's just never going to catch up, because that was the purpose of bringing the institutions into the game. Wasn't to help you out. Why the fuck would they do that? I don't get people. You people are funny. So, things to understand about Bitcoin and what's going on there. Uh, when you look at ETH is even worse off. It doesn't look as good as Bitcoin, which is fucking crazy. Because that's the WEF coin, basically. Um, can I just get a regular? They got all these fake freaking ETHs, man. I just want the regular ass ETH. My God. Let me just switch. He looks so much worse than Bitcoin. God damn. That thing looks like you need to be short. Ugh. Horrible. Horrible. Yeah. Nothing looking good about this market. I mean, look at this. This Bitcoin or total market, total crypto market is on that 2 trillion, 2.25 trillion in assets. If it breaks 2.1, that's very bad. Just speaking from a technical perspective. The last signal the market gave off in terms of trend and direction was a bear signal, which is what this red line is. But it's so old already, and the last one is a bull signal. So you got to watch out for the market to stay above this level. If it does not stay above this level, it invalidates both the signal and potentially the momentum of the market. So, yeah, that's what's happening there. Um, Apparently, there was a big seller today, and I hate to break it to you, but we welcome that. So, hopefully, somebody else will come in and sell another $1 million worth, and they'll take us all the way back down here. Fingers crossed. Because that is what happens when you want to accumulate an asset. Simple stuff. Simple stuff. So don't get lost in the weeds, thinking that you got to make this harder than it is, because you don't. This is really easy. Um, do yourself the favor and keep it that way. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. Um, yeah. Give me a second, guys. Yeah. Don't make your decision making difficult. If you understand hex and you're playing the correct crypto game, which is for the long term, because what's the expectation now with all these robots and automated scenarios due to AI and all of these new capabilities that are now possible with all these technological changes and whatever they're willing to introduce, whatever. The idea is that, and this is just the idea, right? We went over Blockworks and what that is last time. That's just one aspect. There's another aspect to this. And the other idea is a world where crypto is somehow um, a payment mechanism for automated processes and whatnot. And it sounds good, I guess, but you know, like you don't need 80,000 cryptos for that, man. Like you don't need uh uh you don't need, 10 EVM chains, like all this stuff that exists now, you don't need it. You really don't. The few things that you need exist. There is no need for options. There is no need for derivatives. There's no need for random coins that just don't do shit. It's hard, to look at this market and respect it. And that's what people in crypto do not understand. They think because they're in it that's it. And no, that's not it. That's one of the biggest hindrances for crypto is the fact that there's 80,000 fucking coins for no reason. So while the people in the market are upset by the fact that they are not finding the success that they want, they shoot themselves in the foot at the same time, which is funny, but it is what it is. And this is all we've been seeing. I mean, that's the story of Hex since 2021. People shooting themselves in the foot over and over and over again, and then crying about it like it's anybody's fault but their own. So it's funny. Nothing else we could do but sit back and watch. So do yourself the favor. Look at this. Hex is getting in the support zone already. Man, if we're lucky, we'll see her move all the way down to 0.001 and a half or some shit like that. 1.5 is what I meant. So 1.5. But after 2 zeros. So I'm talking all the way down here. That would be nice. That would be very nice. Because again, it's all about the T-shares, man. What if the world does become one such that you do need 80,000 coins? And then the best one is the one that actually pays itself. What if? Because that's the one that makes the most sense. It's the one that's going to be the proper store of value. And all the stuff I've already talked about a million times before. Hex is a powerful thing, man. Make sure you understand it. Because not many other things out there like that. So, understand the power of time, how it's monetized, why that's important. All those things are critical. They're all critical to the success of a financial system. That's why the dollar's in the dire straits that it's in now, because none of those things were respected. Look at all the people that have worked their entire lives for no reason. How do you think they feel? How do you think they feel? All the people that have worked 50, 60 years still can't retire. Still got to go put in that grind every day in, day out, like they're fucking 20. Shit's crazy, man. Imagine being 60, 70, still having to take your ass to work. And that's the scariest shit ever. And I don't think people are scared enough about that shit. Especially when I see dumbass comments in my chat asking me about some dumbass coin. After I just said there's too many pointless fucking coins. Hilarious. Good shit, bro. Good shit. Oh man. So yeah. Do yourself the favor, understand technology, understand the importance of why being early is often the best time to accumulate most of anything. Because you're going to see a lot of when you look at early Bitcoin charts, what do they look like? They look like trash. They look like trash. Think about that. They look like trash. What does Hex chart look like? Trash. And those are the charts you buy for the long term. You don't buy you don't buy shit like this. You don't even buy shit like that. You don't. Unless it's to use for utility purpose because you have to. Like, if you're talking about getting rich, because that's what I'm talking about all the time. I'm not talking about anything else. So, I don't know. I can't relate to other motherfuckers. Let's get into this news. Office CMBS delinquency rate spikes 9 to 9.4%, highest since worst months after the financial crises. Let's take a look at what's happening here. And we talked about the oil bust. Oh no, this is after. Never mind. We didn't talk about that. We'll talk about it at a future point in time. The office sector of commercial real estate has been in depression for about 2 years, right? And in reality, when you look at the real estate landscape, you cannot tell. Prices keep going up for no reason, in ways that don't make sense. So how do you combat that? With time. You can't combat that with money. You can't make more money without time. I mean, how else do you expect to make more of anything without time? I don't understand. With prices of older office towers plunging by 50 to 70% from their last transaction, and sometimes even more, with some office towers selling for land value. Oh shit. I missed that. Yo, I missed this shit somehow. Oh my God. Yo, I've been talking about this for years. For years. And they're still building in places like My Haven in the Bronx, Jersey City in Jersey, where nobody has any incentive to move to. It don't matter what the fuck you put there. What buses you have at these buildings, or whatever amenities you got, you can make it as fancy as you want. Yo, ain't nobody moving to no swampland, son. Period. Nobody's moving to an industrial wasteland and it ain't lost. Like, how you gonna make it fancy and not even cool, and then think people just gonna come in and pay you $4,000? You stupid. You just like giving your money away. And this is what we're seeing here. It goes something like this. In 2006, an investment fund managed by the division of UBS bought a 925,000 square foot office tower dating from the 1960s at 135 West 50th Street in Manhattan for $330 million. Just the building, not the land. In 2006, it purchased the land, ground lease, for $279 million. So we're already talking $600 million deep for one property in 1 year. In 2019, the land to Safehold, the company that specializes in ground leases, sold for $285 million. A meager $6 million gain just on the land. It is assumed that UBS retained the building because this is 2019 and there was an office shortage in Manhattan at the time. And office rents were going to the moon, which, when you think about the time, looking back at 2019, in 2015, there was already that. I don't know if you guys know about it. There's some map. Let me see if I can find it. There's a map of all the retail spaces in New York, and it's a red dot if it's vacant. And we're talking about 2015, guys. That thing was stacked in 2015. What do you think it looks like after 2020? Like, forget about it, man. These people, all that you see is a lie. And there's no other way to put it. Literally everything. Let's see, New York City map of retail vacant spaces. Let's see if I can find this thing. Because it was a very unique thing. It was like, at the time, it was the only map. Let's see. Is this it? Yeah, I found it. VacantNewYork.com. You think that would pop into your head, but it doesn't. Let's see here. Is this thing updated? It's not updated. It doesn't look like it's updated. Come on. Okay. Let's see if I can get this thing to work here, guys. Just want to give you guys a visual of the map so you guys can have an idea of what I'm talking about. If that doesn't work, then we'll just, it doesn't look like it's gonna work. Wow, what a shame. This is why you gotta think of a way to charge for shit, because if you don't, cool shit like that doesn't stay up. So this is what it looked like, basically. And back in 2015, I mean, the guy probably couldn't keep up with it. And what I mean is, there's probably so many vacant storefronts that he just was like, all right, this is too much. I quit. Because who got the time? But this is what's been happening for years. So the fact that, and look at this, supply and demand isn't working. Landlords with large portfolios of property, despite having significant 100+ vacancies, can't drop prices significantly without having a ripple effect on the rest of their portfolio. They can, however, take a loss from the vacant properties and shelter other income. So that's the scam. That's the trick that they play. They don't. You guys got to realize these real estate landowners or property owners or whatever, they'll own portfolios. They don't got just one property in most cases. So what you end up seeing is this. They're not going to drop the prices of the one to a realistic level just because. So this is what we end up seeing. So let's see here. This way, in theory, da 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 da, and then I draw 285 million in cash out of the property. So what they're saying here is that the assumption is, because the deal was made with UBS, the assumption is that UBS retained the building because it was only for the ground lease. So that's the assumption. UBS then renovated the building. Yep. Construction was finished in 2021. At the time, the building was about 40% leased, according to Commercial Observer. According to The Real Deal, citing the recent listing, renovation cost amounted to $76 million. So $76 million. Oh, well, here we go. $408 million in the building. I didn't have to do the math. At the time, well, all right. 408, and they also took out 285 million cash. So it's really a net 115 million into the building, right? Assuming they really did get that 285 million. So not too bad, but they're still in the hole, 115 million. All right. Let's see here. At the time, 2021, after Rona, of course, CRE market began collapsing amid working from home and massive amount of vacant office space coming on the market that no one knew what to deal with. But UBS had already gotten 285 million out the property in 2019. But by now, the building was only 35% leased versus 40. Office rents aren't going to the moon, obviously, and aren't covering the cost of the ground lease. The whole thing has turned into a money suck. Yeah. UBS tried this other office tower. There was plenty, apparently, a deal that fell through. And so UBS dumped the building by selling it via what? An online auction at 10x for $8.5 million. I don't even believe that. That's insane. No way. What UBS got out of the building and had bought for 332 million and renovated for 76 million, 408 million in total, and the land it had bought for 279 million was $8.5 million from the sale of the building and 285 million for total proceeds of 293 million, producing a massive loss on the building but a small gain on the land for a total loss of 385 million. 43% loss on this investment. Yo, that's crazy. Oh my God. That is insane. That's insane. All right. So, as you guys can see, that thing is crumbling. All right. Let's keep going. Yields. Oh, so we're already seeing bonds. You know, that thing, we talked about this a while ago. We talked about this last time. Bonds, they just took it in the chin. They went straight down. From that one time I streamed, all month they just went straight down. And now you might see the end of the trend for now. Maybe some consolidation until it hits the long-term moving averages, maybe a week or two, maybe not, maybe reverses. We'll see. But for now, given the fact that people are caught on and talking about it and whatnot, the odds of yields reversing higher is pretty good. Federal judge rules Iowa officials can challenge ballots of potential non-citizen voters. Imagine being an American going to Japan and saying, I'm voting here because fuck that. It's so asinine, man. I mean, everything is a joke. The fact that this is even a headline is a joke. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. New York Times tech union goes on strike the day before the election. Guess they want to get paid. Because if they can't do the do, it's going to look like Kamala ain't winning. And they can't have that. Dow Jones average dips as U.S. election Fed rate cut looms. Yeah, tonight after the market closes, all margins are going up. Period. Like if you don't got cash money to pay what it costs to trade, you ain't trading. That's exactly what's going on after the night. Because the volatility that's going to be expected is going to be crazy. I mean, I don't intend to trade tomorrow because there's no way in telling what the hell is going to happen. Because all we do know is that they're going to lie and cheat. So, have a long-term position for that. But don't expose yourself to intraday risk because you really don't know what could happen tomorrow. You really don't know. Let's see here. Huawei reveals most powerful Mate smartphone launching this month. Good for them. NBC airs Trump message after Harris' Saturday Night Live appearance. Good for him. Zelensky calls for preemptive long-range strikes of North Korean troops that are apparently in Russia. How about that? With mail-in ballots assisting, Moldova votes for pro-war alignment with EU NATO. Very nice. That's exactly what we want. For more than 2 years, we have been saying to keep an eye on Moldova. In the background, yesterday, Moldova held their national election, and while the actual number of people living in Moldova voted for the anti-war position, once the overseas ballots were added, the results changed. The nationalists became the minority, and the pro-war, pro-EU globalists declared victory. How convenient. This may seem like a relatively over there and small issue. However, the people who control Joe Biden, the U.S. State Department, and the CIA have been positioning themselves in and around Moldova for several years now. And if you don't understand the relation, think about Ukraine. Ukraine and what they did over there is 10 years old. And this is exactly the repeat of that. They tried to do it in Georgia last week and couldn't get away with it. Yep. So the point is, they're going from country to country trying to do whatever they always do. Which now they're trying to, whatever. You get what I mean. So, yeah, there's that. Harris claims she'll end Gaza war in final election pitch to Arab Americans. Imagine. Let's pretend this is real for a second and not a joke, right? Imagine. I mean, this shit is so disrespectful. Imagine being the vice president right now, right? Talking about you gonna end something right, in a few months. Oh shit. Yo, wild disrespectful, man. Wild disrespectful. I don't even got words. Just I wish people would wake up, but that's asking for too much. So whatever. Hold on, I gotta fix something. This is annoying. Yeah, it's crazy, man. How people just, they do their best to not worry about what they should worry about. Honestly, which is what the people with quote unquote power are doing. Anyway, U.S. factory orders tumbled in September. No surprise there. We all see nobody's buying anything. November weekend surprises. Doesn't sound interesting enough. Washington activates National Guard. Oregon standing ready heading into election day. I wonder why. Let's see what else we got here. Will U.S. support for Ukraine continue after the election? And we already know the answer to that. We already saw what happened in 2020 before during the Trump years. We already saw. So the answer to that is if Trump wins, no. If they cheat and steal, yes. Simple as that. That's the story narrative that's out there. So that's how it's gonna go down. Hospital mask mandates come back in California's Bay Area. Good for them. That place is a fucking shithole. Every time I see something about California, man, it's just I don't understand how people tolerate that place. As it is, never mind the headlines, just as it is. All right, let's keep reading here. What time is it? 2:20? All right. Yeah, nothing really interesting else is going on. I mean, we all see the craziness that's happening on Twitter, online, and social media space. How they're trying to control the narrative at every turn. Everybody's aware of that. Everybody that watches me is definitely aware of that. Just be mindful of the facts. Keep yourself in the proper headspace and timing. Don't buy into any narratives. You can't afford it. Nobody can, honestly. As you guys can see, the trend continues. And ultimately, at this point, you really just want to see what the hell is going to happen with this one. Bam. Because, yeah, if it holds that, probably all good. If it's not all good. And you got some support right there, so see what happens. And stops right below that. But yeah, I mean, I guess this is a pretty good stream. Wrap it up for the day. Are you using Hex on Ethereum, or do you buy Hex over da da da? Yeah, I don't know if people are using Ethereum or not, but it's cheap. So yeah, I keep my Hex where it's at. If is the answer to that question. And yeah, looks like it's time to get out of this trade. So yeah. Been a good one, guys. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.